and the winner will go up to the Premier League, which involves getting millions of pounds for your team just by being there. There's television money. You'll be on Match of the Day every week. And obviously, there's a much higher profile for you and your players. And of course, if you get promotion, if you win this game, you as the manager will get quite a handsome bonus as well. So obviously, you're the manager of the team. You're all preparing it during the week, plenty of training, and you give the instruction to the players late in the week. Look, I want you in bed early the last few nights. No late staying out or anything like that. Don't go and gorge yourself on food or whatever. We really want to win this. Anyway, it comes across on some social media early on Saturday morning, the day of the match, that 3 of your star players were actually seen out in a nightclub drinking, not necessarily getting drunk, but they were seen to leave about 1 or 1:30 in the morning, and they were a little bit worse for wear. They had a great time, and so on. Now, this came out on social media on Saturday morning. So now, Cuz, as the manager of the team, you're faced with a difficult decision, because if you say that I'm going to punish them, those 3 guys, they must abide by the rules. All the other players have. They've been found out. And what am I going to do? Basically, the fact is, if they don't play, there's a very good chance your team won't win, because you're playing a tough opponent like Crystal Palace, something like that. And so you think, do I play these players or not? I will get a big bonus if we go up. I think if we play with our star guys, we're likely to win this game at Wembley. If I drop them, ethically, perhaps I should. I will lose out on a bonus. My team probably will lose the match, and we're stuck in the Championship, the one below the Premier League, for another season at least. So, over to you, Cuz. You're the manager. What are you going to do when the players all come in late morning? They have a lunch together to make sure they have the right food, and you're going to then talk to them all. And what are you going to do? You're going to drop them, or are you going to play them?
Well, first of all, I love your analogy of Manchester United and Crystal Palace.
Well, we know who'd win, Cuz, don't we? We know who'd win.
Love it. It's like you're thinking Manchester United. And who's the opposing team? Crystal Palace. Yeah.
Well, I was at Crystal Palace last night in the FA Cup game against Millwall, which was good. 1-1 draw, and we won on penalties. So well done, Palace, for that. So yeah, Palace would win the game. But let's stick to the reality of this. What are you going to do with those 3 players?
Well, if I was the manager,
yeah,
I would stick to principles. I would stick to principles.
You would.
Yeah, because what if I play them and we lose?
Yeah.
So principles will come first for me. I would say, this is my principle, right? I told you, lay down the rules. This is what you're supposed to abide by it. And so I'm dropping you from the game today. I'd go by principles, because then if I lose, then my principle wins. But if I dump my principles, right, and if I shelve my principles and play them or field them, and I still lose, it's a double shame for me, the manager.
So let me get it clear. You're saying you would play them?
I would not.
Is that
play
what you
them.
said? You would, right? You would not play them. You stick to your
principles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What if the rest of the team? Because obviously you need to discuss this in the dressing room before the match or over the lunch. So this in the dressing room before the match or over the lunch to let the rest of the team know. What would you say if the team said, look, Gov, we want to win this match. The guys have broken the rules. They're wrong. Why don't you fine them 2 weeks' wages, which is what often happens with footballers, but let them play, for goodness sake. This is our one chance to get up into the Premier League. In other words, if the decent players, if they're the ones who haven't broken the rules, say, come on, we want them to play, which is probably quite a response you will be likely to get. Would that change your mind at all?
No, I would.
I thought you'd frozen for the minute. I was about to hit a few keys on the keyboard, but you were thinking. You were thinking deeply.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought about it deeply. Yeah. Um, all right. So I would compromise, right? But my compromise would be that they would have to come on as substitutes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So they would have to come on as substitute. They would not start the game. Definitely will not start the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think what this dilemma illustrates really is that sometimes in life we are faced with situations where there is doing the right thing, there's doing the wrong thing, but as you say, a compromise perhaps can be made. But I'm thinking, to answer my own question then on this, that if the other players to a person said, we want these in the team, Gov, you're the boss, but we know they've misbehaved, they've all apologised, we know that may not be enough, so can't you find another way, find them money or whatever, but we want them in the team. I think I could bow to that. It would be different if the other players said, no, why should they play? We've all obeyed the rules and they haven't. And I think then, yeah, you've got to think about sticking to those principles. But maybe there are times where it's not so cut and dried as that. And we can think, well, there's a lot of pros and cons on this. Whatever you do, in a way, you're going to be damned, whatever decision you make. But yeah, I guess what you've said is you would basically stick to your principles. And all I'd say is, I mean, if you don't win the game, then as has been said, I think it can be quite a lonely place at the top of the righteous mountain. You can make the right ethical decision in circumstances in life, and you might find it's a bit lonely up there because a compromise may have made life a bit more comfortable. I'm not saying we drop our principles, but sometimes that can leave us isolated, perhaps.
It can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't do actually, yeah. I understand where you